Champagne sales are down because of a lack of cheer. Schools in New York are banning those realistic shooter drills. And doctors remove a very large gourd from a farmer's rectum. How exciting. How weird. These are the stories for Weird AF News on Tuesday. Weird AF News is the only daily weird news podcast hosted by a comedian inside a closet. Let's go. Champagne sales have fizzled out globally in the year 2024, apparently. The traditional toast to life's celebrations, like births, weddings, promotions, and even christening new ships, appears to have fallen pretty flat. The CFO of a luxury holdings company, LVMH, which owns brands like Louis Vuitton and Moet et Chandon. Did I say that right? Moet et Chandon. The CFO of this company believes it has to do with consumers not feeling happy enough to celebrate. Yeah, you think? When everything costs too much, people don't buy luxury items. I'm just giving you the heads up. You're the CFO of a luxury holdings company. You should know this already. This is your specialty. This is what they call a niche. This is your niche. Yeah, it's a lack of funds, not cheer, buddy. Because newsflash, people also drink when they're sad. They also do drink when they're sad. But just when people don't have the money, they're not buying champagne. All right. Vodka is cheaper and it helps you forget a lot faster. It's called pivoting. You have to pivot in times of trouble. So, yeah, you won't catch me drinking champagne these days. I can barely afford the strippers. All right, we have another quote from this guy. He says, maybe the current global situation, be it geopolitical or macroeconomic, does not lead people to cheer up and to open bottles of champagne. I don't really know. How much are they paying this moron? I'd like to know. With this company, he's probably getting six figures, high six figures for this, from this just genius insight that you're getting from this half-wit. They say champagne shipments in the first half of 2024 are down over 15% from the 2023 levels, according to reporting from Reuters. Shipments in the first half of this year reached 106 million bottles. We have a quote from some guy named David, who's the Champagne House's lobby chairman. What's the Champagne House's lobby? These guys trying to get champagne included in various city council meetings across the world. Champagne lobbyists. This guy says, the gloomy global geopolitical and economic situation, as well as generalized inflation, is weighing on household consumption. Yeah, this guy gets it. This guy knows it's weighing on household consumptions. Thank God I have a homemade situation where I make a balcony wine. It's got plenty of bubbles in it. Who wants some of my homemade balcony wine? Anybody interested in it? It's a bootlegging operation that makes bubbly wine. That's what I'm going to say. They also say another factor to the lack of champagne sales is the frosty weather. Champagne grapes can easily suffer from mildew fungal infections in wet and frosty weather, which 2024 has had plenty of in the region. Also, I would say another factor is you charge too much. You charge too much for champagne. You can get sparkling wines from other regions, like Australia and Italy, for much cheaper and tastes just as good to me. I mean, I can't really tell the difference from champagne. I'm not really a big connoisseur of champagne, consumer of champagne. I don't really like champagne is what I'm saying. It gives me kind of a headache. I find marijuana to be cheaper and it works quicker. Yeah. I think another factor for champagne is just poor marketing as well. I mean, it's constantly promoted as like special occasion. Well, how many special occasions are there in a year in people's lives? Couple births, maybe a wedding. Not all of us are winning NASCAR races and stuff like that. So like, where are the sales coming from? I think you need to pivot with your marketing and go beyond special occasions like weddings. For instance, I've never seen champagne marketed as something to be used during a drinking game. How about champagne pong? Who's with me? The largest school district in the nation bans realistic active shooter drills. New York, home of the nation's largest school district, is getting rid of these realistic active shooter drills at the schools following years of activism and protests by parents and lawmakers who claim that these drills actually traumatize the children, normalize violence, and do little to prepare students for the unlikely possibility of a school shooting anyway. Well, geez, everyone, what are you going to do? Have unrealistic school shooter drills? I mean, come on, man. If you're not having the kids put a tourniquet on their classmate or giving him CPR on the ground, are you really preparing them for a school shooting? These are jokes, guys. Clearly, I don't support this sort of stuff. You're giving the kids PTSD. Years of therapy is being set up in this instance. I can't imagine being a young child in a public school in the nation right now and having to deal with this. I mean, can you imagine? Now, this school district is taking some steps. They approved unanimously an outline that requires schools to use trauma-informed and age-appropriate methods in the drills and bans the use of any actors, props, or tactics depicting violence when school is in session. And from my understanding, sometimes they didn't even inform the students that it was happening, that it was a drill. So therefore, they thought it could be real what was going on. Yeah, I mean, the fire drills aren't super shocking. They just ring the bell and everybody lines up, and no one is traumatized by the fire drill. You know, imagine if they pumped in a bunch of smoke into the hallways and cut off the power. Yeah, that would traumatize them. So there's a way to do it. You don't have to go through the full active shooter simulation. The article says that these lockdown drills have become commonplace in schools across the U.S. 40 states require the practice. While there is not enough data to show how many schools perform realistic drills by using actors and props, some parents in New York believe the state requires too many drills starting at a young age, resulting in children who are anxious, traumatized, and afraid they will become victims of a shooting. Now, in this new change going on in New York, these rules approved by the Board of Regents will now require schools to notify school staff and students about planned drills ahead of time, in addition to notifying parents a week in advance as well. The Regents set educational policy for the state's school districts, including New York City Public Schools, the largest in the U.S. with over 1 million students. Some experts claim there's not enough research yet to confirm the value of these drills involving students or evidence to show that they even help protect the school community. However, evidence seems to be mounting that these active shooter drills can have some lasting harm on young people, leaving them to deal with anxiety and trauma as well as the normalization of gun violence. It says here that focusing on training the staff on how to respond and adding other safety measures such as locks on doors and windows is a better way to respond, in addition to ensuring schools know how to implement crisis intervention and provide help and resources to students who may be isolated. These new rules go into effect in the upcoming school year. All New York schools, including non-public schools, will still be required to conduct a minimum of 8 evacuation drills and 4 lockdown drills every school year. Imagine 4 lockdown drills every school year, 8 evacuation drills. We would do 1 fire drill a year when I was at school. I believe it was just the one. I can't imagine all of these drills. That just would create an ambiance of paranoia and fear. You know, it really baffles me that institutions in the U.S. have decided that we're just going to traumatize an entire generation of children before we say, sorry, Kyle, you can't buy 2,600 rounds of ammunition.
Let's rock.
Doctors surgically remove a 40-centimeter gourd from a farmer's rectum. The story's out of India. Yeah, we got doctors in India recently carrying out an unusual surgery to remove a 40-centimeter bottle gourd from a farmer's rectum. 40 centimeters is about 16 inches if you're doing the math at home. A bottle gourd is it's a gourd. It's like a bottle gourd is a nutritious, delicious vegetable that goes well in a soup or on the side when you're eating chicken or steak. Also, apparently, it's a sex toy for some farmers out there. I didn't know that. We're learning that. Okay, this patient arrived at the Okay, so the patient arrived at the Chhatarpur Chhatarpur District Hospital in Madhya Pradesh from Khajuraho. That sounds like an awful thing to say to someone. This took place on Saturday. Did I get all that right? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. Public school education here. I'm just trying to pronounce difficult words. The 60-year-old man, he's 60 years old, putting gourds in his rectum. Wow, this guy. 60-year-old man with a gourd up his rectum. Oh, my gourd. He is going to be the butt of many a joke. Sorry for the puns, guys. These guys came into the hospital, critical condition, suffering from intense stomach pain. Why? 16 inches of gourd up inside his rectum. They say it was lodged inside the farmer's rectum, according to the x-ray that revealed such a thing. And this gourd was causing significant internal damage, as you would imagine that it would. The urgency of the situation apparently led the medical team to initiate an emergency gourd removal surgery. After a 2-hour operation, the doctors successfully extracted the bottle gourd, saving this man's life. Oh, look, it comes with a lovely photo of the doctors holding the gourd out like it's a prize-winning bass fish they caught in a tournament. Here's what we took out of this man's buttocks. Yay! Successful day at the ER. Wow. Imagine you and your sex toy make worldwide headline news one day. That's just, what a crazy world we live in, huh? Now, it says here the patient is very tight-lipped about how the gourd got inside his body. One of the surgeons involved in the operation revealed that the patient declined to disclose how the gourd came to be lodged inside his rectum. The doctors have some ideas, though. Let's find out by their ideas what kind of sense of humor we're dealing with here. Doctors suspect that a mental health issue might be behind this bizarre incident. Okay, so mental health, they're saying. Though they haven't also ruled out the possibility of an accident. Guys, let's not be naive here. You know, what do you think? He slipped and fell on the gourd? Yeah, I just slipped and I fell on it, went right in me. It's funny, it landed exactly on my crack. It cracked in my crack happened to be pre-lubed. I don't know why. It just happened to be that way. Oh, these polite doctors, so kind with their speculations. So innocent. So nice. None of them said, nah, well, he probably did it because he thinks it feels good. Maybe it does feel good. Those are probably the circumstances surrounding the case. People are cracking jokes on social media about this poor guy. It reminds me of the story I covered about the guy who got it was like a World War II bomb shell caught in his rectum. Remember that? He actually gave a reason that he accidentally fell on it. That was his reason. He actually fell on it and it went up his rectum. I would almost respect the person more if they just came out and said, you know what, I just put things in my butt sometimes. It feels good, and then I just, I try to go bigger. I go big or I go home. And sometimes I go too big and I go to the emergency room. Hello, my friends and loyal listeners of the Weird AF News podcast. This is your buddy Jonesy. Just want to extend a thank you for spending some time with me in the show. If you'd like to reach out to me, the email's funnyjones@gmail.com, and I'm on Instagram @funnyjones. You can send me articles that you think might be appropriate for the show. I'd appreciate that. Makes my job a little easier. You can also see on my Instagram where I might be performing. So that's kind of if you're into that stuff, if you like stand-up comedy. I have a lot of stand-up comedy videos on my YouTube, by the way, if you're curious. It's @funnyjones on the YouTube as well. You can, there's got to be 100 hours of it, maybe, something like that. Anyways, so I'll just say real quickly, if you haven't subscribed to the show, please consider doing so on whatever platform you're listening to. Weird AF News is available on all podcast platforms and YouTube as well. That's right. If you'd like to support the show, I have a website, weirdafnews.com, and over there's many ways in which you can support the show by buying me a coffee and all of that. If you'd like to support the show with just a little bit of your time and effort, and you don't have enough money, totally cool. You can write a review of the show on Amazon or Apple Podcasts, also known as iTunes. Or if you're listening on Spotify, you can just give it like 5 stars or 4 stars. 4 stars would be great. I'm happy with 3 stars. I'm not going to complain about 3 stars as well. That's a way to do it real quick. Support the show. Anyways, I hate asking you for things, but I seem to always do that in the outro. I guess that's what the outro is for. They always say, give them a call to action. They always tell you that, the professional marketers. Give them a call to action. Here's my call to action. Laugh, mother. Beep.